Bienvenue chez Examist, votre partenaire de confiance pour réussir vos certifications. Nous proposons des supports d'études complets, en ligne et hors ligne. Et nous sommes là pour vous guider pas à chaque étape. Des guides PDF détaillés aux exercices pratiques bien structurés. Toutes les questions essentielles sont soigneusement couvertes pour vous donner toutes les chances de réussir. Vous aurez toujours les bonnes ressources à portée de main. Téléchargez les PDFs. Faites des tests et connectez-vous à notre équipe d'assistance experte. Avec la pratique interactive en ligne. Entraînez-vous et quand vous voulez. À votre rythme. Nos PDFs prêts pour l'examen sont soigneusement élaborés et régulièrement mis à jour. Des milliers d'apprenants certifiés font confiance à notre qualité et à notre sérieux. Des professionnels qualifiés sont disponibles pour répondre à vos questions. Commencez dès aujourd'hui et donnez à votre préparation l'avantage décisif avec Examist. Visitez Examist. Comme dès maintenant. Examist. Votre parcours vers le succès commence ici.
Question 1. You are building in milliliter model to detect anomalies in real-time sensor data. You will use pub, sub to handle incoming requests. You want to store the results for analytics and visualization. How should you configure the pipeline? Option A. 1 equals data flow. 2 equals AI platform. 3 equals BigQuery. Option B. 1 equals data proc. 2 equals AutoML. 3 equals cloud bigtable. Option C. 1 equals BigQuery. 2 equals AutoML. 3 equals cloud functions. Option D. 1 equals BigQuery. 2 equals AI platform. 3 equals cloud storage. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. 1 equals data flow, 2 equals AI platform, 3 equals BigQuery. Question 2. Your organization wants to make its internal shuttle service route more efficient. The shuttles currently stop at all pickup points across the city every 30 minutes between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. The development team has already built an application on Google Kubernetes engine that requires users to confirm their presence in shuttle station one day in advance. What approach should you take? Option A. 1. Build a tree-based regression model that predicts how many passengers will be picked up at each shuttle station. 2. Dispatch an appropriately sized shuttle and provide the map with the required stops based on pay prediction. Option B. 1. Build a tree-based classification model that predicts whether the shuttle should pick up passengers at each shuttle station. 2. Dispatch an available shuttle and provide the map with the required stops based on the prediction. Option C. 1. Define the optimal route as the shortest route that passes by all shuttle stations with confirmed attendance at the given time under capacity constraints. 2. Dispatch an appropriately sized shuttle and indicate the required stops on the map. Option D. 1. Build a reinforcement learning model with tree-based classification models that predict the presence of passengers at shuttle stops as agents and a reward function around a distance-based metric. 2. Dispatch an appropriately sized shuttle and provide the map with the required stops based on the simulated outcome. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. 1. Define the optimal route as the shortest route that passes by all shuttle stations with confirmed attendance at the given time under capacity constraints. 2. Dispatch an appropriately sized shuttle and indicate the required stops on the map. Question 3. You were asked to investigate failures of a production line component based on sensor readings. After receiving the dataset, you discover that less than 1% of the readings are positive examples representing failure incidents. You have tried to train several classification models, but none of them converge. How should you resolve the class imbalance problem? Option A. Use the class distribution to generate 10% positive examples. Option B. Use a convolutional neural network with max pooling and softmax activation. Option C. Downsample the data with upweighting to create a sample with 10% positive examples. Option D. Remove negative examples until the numbers of positive and negative examples are equal. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option C. Downsample the data with upweighting to create a sample with 10% positive examples. Question 4. You want to rebuild your milliliter pipeline for structured data on Google Cloud. You are using PSpark to conduct data transformations at scale. But your pipelines are taking over 12 hours to run. To speed up development and pipeline runtime, you want to use a serverless tool and SQL syntax. You have already moved your raw data into cloud storage. How should you build the pipeline on Google Cloud while meeting the speed and processing requirements? Option A. Use Data Fusion's GUI to build the transformation pipelines, and then write the data into BigQuery. Option B. Convert your PSpark into Spark SQL queries to transform the data, and then run your pipeline on Dataproc to write the data into BigQuery. Option C. Ingest your data into Cloud SQL. Convert your PSpark commands into SQL queries to transform the data, and then use federated queries from BigQuery for machine learning. Option D. Ingest your data into BigQuery using BigQuery load. Convert your PSpark commands into BigQuery SQL queries to transform the data, and then write the transformations to a new table. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option D. Ingest your data into BigQuery using BigQuery load. Convert your PSpark commands into BigQuery SQL queries to transform the data, and then write the transformations to a new table. Question 5. You manage a team of data scientists who use a cloud-based backend system to submit training jobs. This system has become very difficult to administer, and you want to use a managed service instead. The data scientists you work with use many different frameworks, including Keras, PTorch, the Anno, scikit-learn, and custom libraries. What should you do? Option A. Use the AI platform custom containers feature to receive training jobs using any framework. Option B. Configure Kubeflow to run on Google Kubernetes Engine and receive training jobs through TFJob. Option C. Create a library of VM images on Compute Engine, and publish these images on a centralized repository. Option D. Set up Slurm Workload Manager to receive jobs that can be scheduled to run on your cloud infrastructure. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option A. Use the AI platform custom containers feature to receive training jobs using any framework. Question 6. You work for an online retail company that is creating a visual search engine. You have set up an end-to-end milliliter pipeline on Google Cloud to classify whether an image contains your company's product, expecting the release of new products in the near future. You configured a retraining functionality in the pipeline so that new data can be fed into your milliliter models. You also want to use AI Platform's continuous evaluation service to ensure that the models have high accuracy on your test dataset. What should you do? Option A. Keep the original test dataset unchanged even if newer products are incorporated into retraining. Option B. Extend your test dataset with images of the newer products when they are introduced to retraining. Option C. Replace your test dataset with images of the newer products when they are introduced to retraining. Option D. Update your test dataset with images of the newer products when your evaluation metrics drop below a pre-decided threshold. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Extend your test dataset with images of the newer products when they are introduced to retraining. Question 7. You need to build classification workflows over several structured datasets currently stored in BigQuery. Because you will be performing the classification several times, you want to complete the following steps without writing code. Exploratory data analysis, feature selection, model building, training, and hyperparameter tuning and serving. What should you do? Option A. Configure AutoML tables to perform the classification task. Option B. Run a BigQuery milliliter task to perform logistic regression for the classification. Option C. Use AI platform notebooks to run the classification model with Pandas library. Option D. Use AI platform to run the classification model job configured for hyperparameter tuning. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. Configure AutoML tables to perform the classification task. Question 8. You work for a public transportation company and need to build a model to estimate delay times for multiple transportation routes. Predictions are served directly to users in an app in real time. Because different seasons and population increases impact the data relevance, you will retrain the model every month. You want to follow Google recommended best practices. How should you configure the end-to-end architecture of the predictive model? Option A. Configure Kubeflow pipelines to schedule your multi-step workflow from training to deploying your model. Option B. Use a model trained and deployed on BigQuery milliliter, and trigger retraining with the scheduled query feature in BigQuery. Option C. Write a Cloud Function script that launches a training and deploying job on AI platform that is triggered by Cloud Scheduler. Option D. Use Cloud Composer to programmatically schedule a data flow job that executes the workflow from training to deploying your model. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. Configure Kubeflow pipelines to schedule your multi-step workflow from training to deploying your model. Question 9. You are developing milliliter models with AI platform for image segmentation on CT scans. You frequently update your model architectures based on the newest available research papers, and have to rerun training on the same dataset to benchmark their performance. You want to minimize computation costs and manual intervention while having version control for your code. What should you do? Option A. Use Cloud Functions to identify changes to your code in cloud storage and trigger a retraining job. Option B. Use the G-Cloud command line tool to submit training jobs on AI platform when you update your code. Option C. Use Cloud Build linked with cloud source repositories to trigger retraining when new code is pushed to the repository. Option D. Create an automated workflow in Cloud Composer that runs daily and looks for changes in code in cloud storage using a sensor. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. Use Cloud Build linked with cloud source repositories to trigger retraining when new code is pushed to the repository. Question 10. Your team needs to build a model that predicts whether images contain a driver's license, passport, or credit card. The data engineering team already built the pipeline and generated a dataset composed of 10,000 images with driver's licenses, 1,000 images with passports, and 1,000 images with credit cards. You now have to train a model with the following label map. Driver's license. Passport. Credit card. Which loss function should you use? Option A. Categorical hinge. Option B. Binary cross entropy. Option C. Categorical cross entropy. Option D. Sparse categorical cross entropy. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, categorical cross entropy. Question 11. You are designing an milliliter recommendation model for shoppers on your company's e-commerce website. You will use Recommendations AI to build, test, and deploy your system. How should you develop recommendations that increase revenue while following best practices? Option A. Use the other products you may like recommendation type to increase the click-through rate. Option B. Use the frequently bought together recommendation type to increase the shopping cart size for each order. Option C. Import your user events and then your product catalog to make sure you have the highest quality event stream. Option D. Because it will take time to collect and record product data. Use placeholder values for the product catalog to test the viability of the model. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Use the frequently bought together recommendation type to increase the shopping cart size for each order. Question 12. You are designing an architecture with a serverless milliliter system to enrich customer support tickets with informative metadata before they are routed to a support agent. You need a set of models to predict ticket priority, predict ticket resolution time, and perform sentiment analysis to help agents make strategic decisions when they process support requests. Tickets are not expected to have any domain-specific terms or jargon. The proposed architecture has the following flow. Which endpoints should the enrichment cloud functions call? Option A. 1 equals AI platform. 2 equals AI platform. 3 equals Auto ML Vision. Option B. 1 equals AI platform. 2 equals AI platform. 3 equals Auto ML Natural Language. Option C. 1 equals AI platform. 2 equals AI platform. 3 equals Cloud Natural Language API. Option D. 1 equals Cloud Natural Language API. 2 equals AI platform. 3 equals Cloud Vision API. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. 1 equals AI platform, 2 equals AI platform, 3 equals Cloud Natural Language API. Question 13. You have trained a deep neural network model on Google Cloud. The model has low loss on the training data, but is performing worse on the validation data. You want the model to be resilient to overfitting. Which strategy should you use when retraining the model? Option A. Apply a dropout parameter of 0, 2, and decrease the learning rate by a factor of 10. Option B. Apply a L2 regularization parameter of 0, 4, and decrease the learning rate by a factor of 10. Option C. Run a hyperparameter tuning job on AI platform to optimize for the L2 regularization and dropout parameters. Option D. Run a hyperparameter tuning job on AI platform to optimize for the learning rate and increase the number of neurons by a factor of 2. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. Run a hyperparameter tuning job on AI platform to optimize for the L2 regularization and dropout parameters. Question 14. You built and manage a production system that is responsible for predicting sales numbers. Model accuracy is crucial, because the production model is required to keep up with market changes. Since being deployed to production, the model hasn't changed. However, the accuracy of the model has steadily deteriorated. What issue is most likely causing the steady decline in model accuracy? Option A. Poor data quality. Option B. Lack of model retraining. Option C. Too few layers in the model for capturing information. Option D. Incorrect data split ratio during model training. Evaluation, validation, and test. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, lack of model retraining. Question 15. You have been asked to develop an input pipeline for an milliliter training model that processes images from disparate sources at a low latency. You discover that your input data does not fit in memory. How should you create a dataset following Google recommended best practices? Option A. Create a TF data dataset prefetch transformation. Option B. Convert the images to TF tensor objects and then run dataset from tensor slices. Option C. Convert the images to TF tensor objects and then run TF data dataset from tensors. Option D. Convert the images into TF records. Store the images in cloud storage. And then use the TF data API to read the images for training. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Convert the images into TF records. Store the images in cloud storage. And then use the TF data API to read the images for training. Question 16. You are an milliliter engineer at a large grocery retailer with stores in multiple regions. You have been asked to create an inventory prediction model. Your model's features include region, location, historical demand, and seasonal popularity. You want the algorithm to learn from new inventory data on a daily basis. Which algorithms should you use to build the model? Option A. Classification. Option B. Reinforcement learning. Option C. Recurrent neural networks. RNN. Option D. Convolutional neural networks. CNN. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, recurrent neural networks, RNN. Question 17. You are building a real-time prediction engine that streams files which may contain personally identifiable information. P. To Google Cloud. You want to use the Cloud Data Loss Prevention (DLP) API to scan the files. How should you ensure that the P is not accessible by unauthorized individuals? Option A. Stream all files to Google Cloud. And then write the data to BigQuery. Periodically conduct a bulk scan of the table using the DLP API. Option B. Stream all files to Google Cloud. And write batches of the data to BigQuery. While the data is being written to BigQuery, conduct a bulk scan of the data using the DLP API. Option C. Create two buckets of data. Sensitive and non-sensitive. Write all data to the non-sensitive bucket. Periodically conduct a bulk scan of that bucket using the DLP API. And move the sensitive data to the sensitive bucket. Option D. Create three buckets of data. Quarantine, sensitive, and non-sensitive. Write all data to the quarantine bucket. Periodically conduct a bulk scan of that bucket using the DLP API. And move the data to either the sensitive or non-sensitive bucket. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Create three buckets of data. Quarantine, sensitive, and non-sensitive. Write all data to the quarantine bucket. Periodically conduct a bulk scan of that bucket using the DLP API. And move the data to either the sensitive or non-sensitive bucket. Question 18. You work for a large hotel chain and have been asked to assist the marketing team in gathering predictions for a targeted marketing strategy. You need to make predictions about user lifetime value (LTV) over the next 20 days so that marketing can be adjusted accordingly. The customer dataset is in BigQuery, and you are preparing the tabular data for training with AutoML tables. This data has a time signal that is spread across multiple columns. How should you ensure that AutoML fits the best model to your data? Option A. Manually combine all columns that contain a time signal into an array. Allow AutoML to interpret this array appropriately. Choose an automatic data split across the training, validation, and testing sets. Option B. Submit the data for training without performing any manual transformations. Allow AutoML to handle the appropriate transformations. Choose an automatic data split across the training, validation, and testing sets. Option C. Submit the data for training without performing any manual transformations, and indicate an appropriate column as the time column. Allow AutoML to split your data based on the time signal provided, and reserve the more recent data for the validation and testing sets. Option D. Submit the data for training without performing any manual transformations. Use the columns that have a time signal to manually split your data. Ensure that the data in your validation set is from 30 days after the data in your training set and that the data in your testing sets from 30 days after your validation set. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Submit the data for training without performing any manual transformations. Use the columns that have a time signal to manually split your data. Ensure that the data in your validation set is from 30 days after the data in your training set and that the data in your testing sets from 30 days after your validation set. Question 19. You have written unit tests for a Kubeflow pipeline that require custom libraries. You want to automate the execution of unit tests with each new push to your development branch in cloud source repositories. What should you do? Option A. Write a script that sequentially performs the push to your development branch and executes the unit tests on cloud. Run. Option B. Using Cloud Build, set an automated trigger to execute the unit tests when changes are pushed to your development branch. Option C. Set up a cloud logging sync to a pub subtopic that captures interactions with cloud source repositories. Configure a pub sub-trigger for Cloud Run, and execute the unit tests on Cloud Run. Option D. Set up a cloud logging sync to a pub subtopic that captures interactions with cloud source repositories. Execute the unit tests using a cloud function that is triggered when messages are sent to the pub sub-topic. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Using Cloud Build, set an automated trigger to execute the unit tests when changes are pushed to your development branch. Question 20. You are training an LSTM-based model on AI platform to summarize text using the following job submission. Script. Rate equals 0. 001. You want to ensure that training time is minimized without significantly compromising the accuracy of your model. What should you do? Option A. Modify the epochs parameter. Option B. Modify the scale tier parameter. Option C. Modify the batch size parameter. Option D. Modify the learning rate parameter. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Modify the scale tier parameter. Question 21. You have deployed multiple versions of an image classification model on AI platform. You want to monitor the performance of the model versions over time. How should you perform this comparison? Option A. Compare the loss performance for each model on a held-out dataset. Option B. Compare the loss performance for each model on the validation data. Option C. Compare the receiver operating characteristic ROC curve for each model using the what if tool. Option D. Compare the mean average precision across the models using the continuous evaluation feature. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Compare the mean average precision across the models using the continuous evaluation feature. Question 22. You trained a text classification model. You have the following signature defs. You started a TensorFlow serving component server and tried to send an HTTP request to get a prediction. Using headers equals content type. Application JSON response equals requests. Post HTTP localhost 8501 v1 models text model. Predict data equals data. Headers equals headers. What is the correct way to write the predict request? Option A. Data equals JSON. Dumps. Signature name. Saving default. Instances. AB. BC. CD. Closing curly bracket. Option B. Data equals JSON. Dumps. Signature name. Serving default. Instances. A. B. C, D, E, F. Closing curly bracket. Option C. Data equals JSON. Dumps. Signature name. Serving default. Instances. A, B, C, D, E, F. Closing curly bracket. Option D. Data equals JSON. Dumps. Signature name. Serving default. Instances. A, B, C, D, E, F. Closing curly bracket. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Data equals JSON. Dumps. Signature name. Serving default. Instances. A, B, C, D, E, F. Closing curly bracket. Question 23. Your organization's call center has asked you to develop a model that analyzes customer sentiments in each call. The call center receives over 1 million calls daily, and data is stored in cloud storage. The data collected must not leave the region in which the call originated, and no personally identifiable information P can be stored or analyzed. The data science team has a third-party tool for visualization and access which requires a SQL ANSI 2011 compliant interface. You need to select components for data processing and for analytics. How should the data pipeline be designed? Option A. 1 equals data flow. 2 equals BigQuery. Option B. 1 equals pub, sub. 2 equals data store. Option C. 1 equals data flow. 2 equals cloud SQL. Option D. 1 equals cloud function. 2 equals cloud SQL. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. 1 equals data flow, 2 equals BigQuery. Question 24. You are an milliliter engineer at a global shoe store. You manage the milliliter models for the company's website. You are asked to build a model that will recommend new products to the user based on their purchase behavior and similarity with other users. What should you do? Option A. Build a classification model. Option B. Build a knowledge-based filtering model. Option C. Build a collaborative-based filtering model. Option D. Build a regression model using the features as predictors. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option C. Build a collaborative-based filtering model. Question 25. You work for a social media company. You need to detect whether posted images contain cars. Each training example is a member of exactly one class. You have trained an object detection neural network and deployed the model version to AI platform prediction for evaluation. Before deployment, you created an evaluation job and attached it to the AI platform prediction model version. You notice that the precision is lower than your business requirements allow. How should you adjust the model's final layer softmax threshold to increase precision? Option A. Increase the recall. Option B. Decrease the recall. Option C. Increase the number of false positives. Option D. Decrease the number of false negatives. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option B. Decrease the recall. Question 26. You are responsible for building a unified analytics environment across a variety of on-premises data marts. Your company is experiencing data quality and security challenges when integrating data across the servers, caused by the use of a wide range of disconnected tools and temporary solutions. You need a fully managed, cloud-native data integration service that will lower the total cost of work and reduce repetitive work. Some members on your team prefer a codeless interface for building extract, transform, load, ETL, process. Which service should you use? Option A. Data flow. Option B. Data prep. Option C. Apache Flink. Option D. Cloud Data Fusion. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option D. Cloud Data Fusion. Question 27. You are an milliliter engineer at a regulated insurance company. You are asked to develop an insurance approval model that accepts or rejects insurance applications from potential customers. What factors should you consider before building the model? Option A. Redaction, reproducibility, and explainability. Option B. Traceability, reproducibility, and explainability. Option C. Federated learning, reproducibility, and explainability. Option D. Differential privacy, federated learning, and explainability. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option B. Traceability, reproducibility, and explainability. Question 28. You are training a ResNet model on AI platform using TPUs to visually categorize types of defects in automobile engines. You capture the training profile using the Cloud TPU Profiler plugin and observe that it is highly input bound. You want to reduce the bottleneck and speed up your model training process. Which modifications should you make to the TF data dataset? Choose 2. Option A. Use the interleave option for reading data. Option B. Reduce the value of the repeat parameter. Option C. Increase the buffer size for the shuttle option. Option D. Set the prefetch option equal to the training batch size. Option E. Decrease the batch size argument in your transformation. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option A. Use the interleave option for reading data. Option D. Set the prefetch option equal to the training batch size. Question 29. You have trained a model on a dataset that required computationally expensive preprocessing operations. You need to execute the same preprocessing at prediction time. You deployed the model on AI platform for high-throughput online prediction. Which architecture should you use? Option A. Validate the accuracy of the model that you trained on pre-processed data. Create a new model that uses the raw data and is available in real time. Deploy the new model onto AI platform for online prediction. Option B. Send incoming prediction requests to a pub, subtopic. Transform the incoming data using a data flow job. Submit a prediction request to AI platform using the transformed data. Write the predictions to an outbound pub, sub-queue. Option C. Stream incoming prediction request data into Cloud Spanner. Create a view to abstract your pre-processing logic. Query the view every second for new records. Submit a prediction request to AI platform using the transformed data. Write the predictions to an outbound pub, sub-queue. Option D. Send incoming prediction requests to a pub, subtopic. Set up a cloud function that is triggered when messages are published to the pub, subtopic. Implement your pre-processing logic in the cloud function. Submit a prediction request to AI platform using the transformed data. Write the predictions to an outbound pub, sub-queue. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option B. Send incoming prediction requests to a pub, subtopic. Transform the incoming data using a data flow job. Submit a prediction request to AI platform using the transformed data. Write the predictions to an outbound pub, sub-queue. Question 30. Your team trained and tested a DNN regression model with good results. 6 months after deployment, the model is performing poorly due to a change in the distribution of the input data. How should you address the input differences in production? Option A. Create alerts to monitor for skew and retrain the model. Option B. Perform feature selection on the model and retrain the model with fewer features. Option C. Retrain the model and select an L2 regularization parameter with a hyperparameter tuning service. Option D. Perform feature selection on the model and retrain the model on a monthly basis with fewer features. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option A. Create alerts to monitor for skew and retrain the model. Question 31. You need to train a computer vision model that predicts the type of government ID present in a given image using a GPU-powered virtual machine on compute engine. You use the following parameters. Optimizer. SGD image shape equals 224. 224 batch size equals 64 epochs equals 10 verbose equals 2. During training you encounter the following error. Resource exhausted error. Out of memory. When allocating tensor. What should you do? Option A. Change the optimizer. Option B. Reduce the batch size. Option C. Change the learning rate. Option D. Reduce the image shape. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option B. Reduce the batch size. Question 32. You developed an milliliter model with AI platform, and you want to move it to production. You serve a few thousand queries per second and are experiencing latency issues. Incoming requests are served by a load balancer that distributes them across multiple Kubeflow CPU-only pods running on Google Kubernetes Engine (GKE). Your goal is to improve the serving latency without changing the underlying infrastructure. What should you do? Option A. Significantly increase the max batch size TensorFlow serving parameter. Option B. Switch to the TensorFlow model server universal version of TensorFlow serving. Option C. Significantly increase the max enqueued batches TensorFlow serving parameter. Option D. Recompile TensorFlow serving using the source to support CPU-specific optimizations. Instruct GKE to choose an appropriate baseline minimum CPU platform for serving nodes. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. Significantly increase the max batch size TensorFlow serving parameter. Question 33. You have a demand forecasting pipeline in production that uses data flow to pre-process raw data prior to model training in prediction. During pre-processing, you employ Z-score normalization on data stored in BigQuery and write it back to BigQuery. New training data is added every week. You want to make the process more efficient by minimizing computation time and manual intervention. What should you do? Option A. Normalize the data using Google Kubernetes Engine. Option B. Translate the normalization algorithm into SQL for use with BigQuery. Option C. Use the normalizer fn argument in TensorFlow's feature column API. Option D. Normalize the data with Apache Spark using the Dataproc connector for BigQuery. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Translate the normalization algorithm into SQL for use with BigQuery. Question 34. You need to design a customized deep neural network in Keras that will predict customer purchases based on their purchase history. You want to explore model performance using multiple model architectures, store training data, and be able to compare the evaluation metrics in the same dashboard. What should you do? Option A. Create multiple models using AutoML tables. Option B. Automate multiple training runs using Cloud Composer. Option C. Run multiple training jobs on AI platform with similar job names. Option D. Create an experiment in Kubeflow pipelines to organize multiple runs. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Create an experiment in Kubeflow pipelines to organize multiple runs. Question 35. You are developing a Kubeflow pipeline on Google Kubernetes Engine. The first step in the pipeline is to issue a query against BigQuery. You plan to use the results of that query as the input to the next step in your pipeline. You want to achieve this in the easiest way possible. What should you do? Option A. Use the BigQuery console to execute your query, and then save the query results into a new BigQuery table. Option B. Write a Python script that uses the BigQuery API to execute queries against BigQuery. Execute this script as the first step in your Kubeflow pipeline. Option C. Use the Kubeflow pipeline's domain-specific language to create a custom component that uses the Python BigQuery client library to execute queries. Option D. Locate the Kubeflow pipeline's repository on GitHub. Find the BigQuery query component. Copy that component's URL, and use it to load the component into your pipeline. Use the component to execute queries against BigQuery. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Locate the Kubeflow pipeline's repository on GitHub. Find the BigQuery query component. Copy that component's URL, and use it to load the component into your pipeline. Use the component to execute queries against BigQuery. Question 36. You are building a model to predict daily temperatures. You split the data randomly and then transformed the training and test datasets. Temperature data for model training is uploaded hourly. During testing, your model performed with 97% accuracy. However, after deploying to production, the model's accuracy dropped to 66%. How can you make your production model more accurate? Option A. Normalize the data for the training. and test datasets as two separate steps. Option B. Split the training and test data based on time rather than a random split to avoid leakage. Option C. Add more data to your test set to ensure that you have a fair distribution and sample for testing. Option D. Apply data transformations before splitting, and cross-validate to make sure that the transformations are applied to both the training and test sets. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option B. Split the training and test data based on time rather than a random split to avoid leakage. Question 37. You are developing models to classify customer support emails. You created models with TensorFlow estimators using small datasets on your on-premises system. But you now need to train the models using large datasets to ensure high performance. You will port your models to Google Cloud and want to minimize code refactoring and infrastructure overhead for easier migration from on-prem to cloud. What should you do? Option A. Use AI platform for distributed training. Option B. Create a cluster on Dataproc for training. Option C. Create a managed instance group with autoscaling. Option D. Use Kubeflow pipelines to train on a Google Kubernetes engine cluster. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option A. Use AI platform for distributed training. Question 38. You have trained a text classification model in TensorFlow using AI platform. You want to use the trained model for batch predictions on text data stored in BigQuery while minimizing computational overhead. What should you do? Option A. Export the model to BigQuery milliliter. Option B. Deploy and version the model on AI platform. Option C. Use Dataflow with the saved model to read the data from BigQuery. Option D. Submit a batch prediction job on AI platform that points to the model location in cloud storage. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option D. Submit a batch prediction job on AI platform that points to the model location in cloud storage. Question 39. You work with a data engineering team that has developed a pipeline to clean your dataset and save it in a cloud storage bucket. You have created an milliliter model and want to use the data to refresh your model as soon as new data is available. As part of your CI/CD workflow, you want to automatically run a Kubeflow pipelines training job on Google Kubernetes engine (GKE). How should you architect this workflow? Option A. Configure your pipeline with Dataflow, which saves the files in cloud storage. After the file is saved, start the training job on a GKE cluster. Option B. Use App Engine to create a lightweight Python client that continuously polls cloud storage for new files. As soon as a file arrives, initiate the training job. Option C. Configure a cloud storage trigger to send a message to a pub subtopic when a new file is available in a storage bucket. Use a pub sub-triggered cloud function to start the training job on a GKE cluster. Option D. Use Cloud Scheduler to schedule jobs at a regular interval. For the first step of the job, check the timestamp of objects in your cloud storage bucket. If there are no new files since the last run, abort the job. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option C. Configure a cloud storage trigger to send a message to a pub subtopic when a new file is available in a storage bucket. Use a pub sub-triggered cloud function to start the training job on a GKE cluster. Question 40. You have a functioning end-to-end milliliter pipeline that involves tuning the hyperparameters of your milliliter model using AI platform. and then using the best tuned parameters for training. Hypertuning is taking longer than expected and is delaying the downstream processes. You want to speed up the tuning job without significantly compromising its effectiveness. Which actions should you take? Choose 2. Option A. Decrease the number of parallel trials. Option B. Decrease the range of floating point values. Option C. Set the early stopping parameter to true. Option D. Change the search algorithm from Bayesian search to random search. Option E. Decrease the maximum number of trials during subsequent training phases. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option C. Set the early stopping parameter to true. Option E. Decrease the maximum number of trials during subsequent training phases.